Welcome to The Explainer. We're diving straight into a massive, incredibly complex, billion-baht corporate dispute today, and it's all over Thailand's most famous morning coffee. We are looking at what is essentially a literal corporate divorce that's just completely shaken up the Thai beverage market. On one side, you have the global giant Nestle, on the other, the prominent Mahagitsiri family. Now, if you've ever found yourself wondering exactly how massive, long-standing joint ventures unravel, well, grab a cup of coffee because you're about to get a masterclass in corporate legal warfare.
Think about the sheer scale of the disruption here. Like, what actually happens when a partnership that has utterly dominated a market for decades just collapses overnight? That's what we're looking at. The absolute shockwave that recently hit the Thai market when production of a total household staple, Nescafe, suddenly ground to a screeching halt. Part 1. The Nescafe shockwave, halting orders.
Let's set the stage, right? How did this high-stakes drama erupt into public view and actually impact everyday consumers? Well, following a major court injunction, Nestle came out and immediately announced they were halting all orders for their instant coffee across literally every single distribution channel. I mean, just imagine the logistics of that for a second. You have a brand that is absolutely everywhere. Grocery stores, corner shops, cafes, suddenly pressing the pause button on all incoming orders. No more coffee. It was a totally unprecedented move, and it immediately signaled to the public that something behind the scenes had gone very, very wrong.
Section 2. Decades of Partnership and the Breakup.
Okay, so to really understand how we got to this sudden halt in coffee orders, we've got to rewind a bit to the foundation of this highly lucrative corporate marriage. For decades, the Mahagitsiri family's company, QCP, partnered with Nestle to build this brand in Thailand. And for a long time, it was this classic synergy. Nestle brought the proprietary coffee recipe and that advanced manufacturing tech to the table. Meanwhile, QCP operated the business locally, and they paid Nestle tens of billions of baht over the years for those rights. Working step by step, they basically built a coffee empire together.
But the crucial point here is just how quickly this whole timeline unraveled. The joint venture contract officially expired in December 2567. The spark that lit the powder keg? That contract was not renewed. Fast forward just a few short months to April 2568, and bam, we see this fierce, rapid-fire escalation of legal battles as the two sides aggressively clash over the fallout of that expired agreement.
Moving on to Section 3. Dueling Court Orders, the Legal Battlefield.
Now, this is where the legal ping-pong gets incredibly messy. On April 3rd, QCP secured an injunction from the Minburi Civil Court, and this effectively banned Nestle from making, importing, or selling Nescafe in Thailand, which perfectly explains that sudden halt in orders we were just talking about. But, wait for it, just over a week later on April 11th, Nestle fires back. They secure an order from the Intellectual Property and International Trade Court, and they claim this order allows them to resume normal business operations. QCP, naturally, immediately pushes back, openly stating that Nestle's interpretation of this second ruling is actively misleading society.
So what is going on here? Well, the absolute core of this legal clash comes down to one thing: jurisdiction. Nestle is relying really heavily on a ruling from an international arbitration court that officially terminated the joint venture with Mahagitsiri. But QCP's legal argument takes a completely different angle. And in corporate law, this creates a massive gray area. You have a global giant leaning on international arbitration and a local powerhouse firmly arguing that on Thai soil, only Thai laws apply. QCP argues that the international ruling has literally zero legal binding under domestic Thai law. So you end up with two massive entities operating under two completely different legal interpretations of their own breakup.
Section 4. The Bankruptcy Bombshell, a Tactical Strike. Then, right in the middle of this already intense jurisdictional battle, Nestle decides to escalate the dispute far beyond your standard contract litigation. They officially filed to have QCP, their former business partners of several decades, mind you, pushed into bankruptcy. I mean, this is a massive tactical legal maneuver. Filing for bankruptcy against an opponent isn't just about collecting a debt, it's a direct strike aimed at the very operational survival and the reputation of the rival company.
However, QCP was incredibly quick to respond to this. They pointed out what they called the sheer absurdity of the bankruptcy claim by publicly stating that their company currently holds roughly 10 billion baht in total assets. 10 billion baht. Just to put that into perspective for a second, filing for bankruptcy against a company with a balance sheet that massive is practically unheard of in standard corporate disputes. And not only that, but QCP also asserts they have 5 billion baht in pure liquid cash just sitting on hand. That is a staggering figure to hold in reserve.
By laying out these exact numbers, QCP is strongly suggesting to both the public and the courts that this bankruptcy filing by Nestle is nothing more than a strategic corporate attack. In their eyes, it's completely divorced from any actual financial reality or real insolvency.
Part 5. QCP fights back. The War of Words.
So, following the traditional Thai New Year, the Songkran Festival, the PR battle actually heated up just as much as the legal one. The Mahagitsiri family launched this fierce, highly publicized defense against Nestle's aggressive legal moves. Using some pretty emotional language, QCP essentially accused Nestle of attempting to kill the child they raised. They claim that Nestle's ultimate goal with all these lawsuits and the bankruptcy filing is to wipe QCP out entirely. Why? Well, to secure an absolute, uncontested monopoly over the incredibly lucrative Thai Nescafe market.
And QCP, they certainly didn't hold back in their press statements. They flat out labeled Nestle's public claims regarding both the international arbitration and that April 11th IP court order as an unforgivable distortion of the facts. It is so clear at this point that the trust between these two former partners hasn't just eroded, it has completely shattered.
Ultimately, right amidst all the legal threats, the Mahagitsiri family issued a really direct emotional plea. They stated, "If you don't want to partner, separate peacefully, don't kill each other." It's honestly a fascinating look at the human element of these giant corporate breakups. It's a call for a standard, amicable business separation, rather than this destructive, all-out corporate warfare that we're currently seeing play out in the public eye.
Section 6. A new coffee rival. What's next?
So, where do we go from here? How does this super messy corporate divorce actually end? And maybe more importantly for us, what does this mean for the everyday coffee drinker who just wants their morning cup? Well, QCP has drawn a very clear line in the sand. They've declared they're ready to move on. According to their latest statements, their next steps involve abandoning the Nescafe name entirely. Actually, instead of fighting endlessly just to remain a partner, they plan to move forward completely independently. They're going to utilize the world-class manufacturing expertise they've built up over decades to produce and launch their very own brand new coffee brand right into the market.
Which of course leaves us with a massive multi-billion baht question for the future of the Southeast Asian beverage market. The Mahagitsiri family knows the Thai coffee consumer better than almost anyone else out there. So, will QCP's new independent coffee rival possess the market knowledge and the consumer loyalty required to actually topple the very Nescafe giant they spent decades helping to build? It's shaping up to be a true David versus Goliath story, emerging right from the ashes of this partnership. Thanks for joining me for this explainer today, and definitely keep your eyes on the coffee aisle to see what happens next.